It's all about the next stage for all of these drivers. These drivers who are thinking about the next little battleground that they will be having right now. It's a take here to a track where the Pro Division has already been before. This is Daytona Beach, Florida. This is where the battles are going to be had. We welcome you to this here today with the Indian eRacing Championship, the junior division here now, and then the Pro Division reverse grid race coming up after this. My name's Jake Sperry here on IR Esports, brought to you with hashtag GamerConnect, Mumbai Falcons Racing Limited, and Motorsport India Volkswagen as well. And in terms of who they are and what they do in terms of this event, it's very crucial to know that Mumbai Falcons Racing Limited are an Indian brand passionate about promoting motorsport in India, and the Mumbai Falcons are also undertaking several initiatives. Those are to innovate and positively impact the entire motorsports ecosystem. On top of that, it is, of course, to help its related facilities with their overall vision to develop supporting projects which impact motorsport and the next generation automotive developments. Mumbai Falcons envisage a futuristic hub to be built, aided by a racetrack which will serve as a multi-platform environment for innovative auto-related companies, and they will also look to provide educational excellence in a plethora of related fields and provide for a wholesome family experience. And on top of that, when it comes to a lot of battling action here, we've also got Volkswagen Motorsport, which of course launched the Polo Cup in 2010, marking their entrance into the Indian motorsport scene. The aim was to provide a platform for young drivers beginning professional racing and of course looking to try and display their skills on a national level. And since then they have produced many race drivers who have progressed to race internationally. But for the moment that we've got going on right now, it's about qualifying, and every driver here will be looking to try and pick up as many results as possible. With Amitesh Rao, we're currently focusing on right now in a qualifying division which has been very interesting, and especially around this Daytona Beach circuit here. We're running the Daytona International Speedway. This is going to be a tough challenge. All of these drivers going low, low, low and low, looking to try and use all of the apron as much as they possibly can here today. It is legal within the rule set here of the Indian eRacing Championship, and you can see right now Rao making progress to the line. A 1:45.2 is enough to go top of the timing stands as things look at the moment. But these qualifying laps become very crucial. They need to look and see how are they going to do, and every single place becomes one of a battleground, and I'm sure every driver will be hoping that they have the best battleground possible here today to go out there to race to win exactly what they want. So now what for Amitesh Rao, heading through towards the West Horseshoe, then the second horseshoe out here on track, and through the right, locking up that inside front will not be helpful to the tyre. They're on that new tyre model version 7, of course, which will be all about trying to get as much as possible out of the tyre, and always trying to deal with not running into any issues. But now going through in a big long left-hand bend right now here at NASCAR Turn 1 and 2. It's now about making that run to the big bus stop, which has been so many times and was in the pro event a sore point of contention for 20 minutes worth of racing action. So now down on the brakes into left and right. This is Prasanna Rajan right now. So Rao clear by 3.8 tenths of a second from Rai in second and Panchal in third. And then you got Sheikh, who is in fourth position, but scratch all of that because Agrawal has just jumped up the order and has moved up then into the third position over the course of this one right now. So that will be very, very useful at the moment to be in third position. Agrawal is in control of the junior standings as things stand, and there goes Prasanna Rajan, who did not brake enough and could not get enough turn in. He has just ploughed it straight into the tyres, and that's not going to be ideal. Avinash Gupta over the line of 150.2, which is not a quick time and will not be classified as one of those at the moment. But stay with us here when it comes to the Indian eRacing Championship. The junior category event is going to be scored into completion soon. Qualifying coming up, with finishing up after this. That's some battling that we have just seen there on the karting tracks of Mumbai, and that will be something new that I'm sure a lot of people who are watching will be definitely wanting to get involved in. This is Debjit Adak, who is making progress now towards the final sections of the lap. Garvit Agrawal going on to start a flying lap in third position at this stage, and we are starting to see here how Agrawal is trying to do everything possible to get back up towards the front. Has been fantastic here in this one. Only 11 drivers so far have actually set representative lap times. There's another spinner that Agrawal just goes by right now. You've got likes of Jahan Noble down the field there in 9th position at this stage, and we'll be hoping for just a little bit more out of this, moving through into the next right-hand bend. This is the West Horseshoe, and now starting to make that progress and trying to attack and trying to be in the best possible place to pick up the race result. But it has to be done in qualifying, and of course qualifying gives you the best possible chance of a race win. So now what for Garvit Agrawal, needing every little thing in this one to try and close down. You can see the gap has really extended out. Amitesh Rao is a full 8 tenths clear at the front of qualifying at the moment, and this has seemingly been one which has favoured certain drivers' styles of driving compared to others. Through the left, the right, and then the left, and there will be one more opportunity for Garvit Agrawal to find that time, to find exactly what is needed here in this qualifying session, because there are going to be a number of drivers here who are starting a little bit further down the order. We'll be hoping that there will be a few issues in terms of qualifying that are not going to be doing well. Sabano doing okay there. There is Yanak Panchal down on the lane, will not go any quicker in 5th place. Tej Patel in 6th. We'll be hoping that there is good times on the horizon. Moving through the left here, going on to the oval banking once again, and we'll be looking to try and find as much time as possible. Well, when I say onto the oval banking, he technically doesn't. He goes underneath the oval banking, and that is a scary prospect to be riding along and having the track up above you by a couple of stories of buildings as you run around here towards that chicane once more. 50 seconds now will soon be on the clock, and it is right now, and starting to push forward here for more time, more that's there. Patel drops down to 7th position now here in qualifying. Not ideal, not at all ideal at this stage. Hoping that there is more to come for Tej Patel. Moving through that final left-hand corner, the NASCAR turns 3 and 4. There is Amitesh Rao at the moment at the front of the field. Agrawal has jumped up into 2nd position. Rai now down to 3rd. Chowdhury in 4th, and Majkamadar is in 5th position overall. Panchal 6th, Rajan in 7th, and now Tej Patel has dropped down into the 8th place. So Yanak Panchal doing well. Prasanna Rajan there with that time jumping up to 7th with 5 seconds remaining on the clock. The timer will expire. Now it's a battle of everybody get yourself over to the line, because this is what open qualifying is all about. You have the opportunity to finish any lap that you go and you start here in these races. And now moving through the left, going on to the banking once again. That's a wider line moving on forward, and that's going to be maybe a little bit more interesting in terms of how this one all looks to sort itself out. So Rajan looking for times, a lot of drivers looking. Amitesh Rao's hoping to try and improve, where Agrawal is trying to do well, and there's a bit of tow that's going to be coming through the final sector. That will be helping Amitesh Rao out quite nicely here, trying to go through the final section. Make sure you don't clip that grass on the inside. It's so easy to just dip a wheel in and see the car spear off in a million different directions. But ultimately for Amitesh Rao, will dive down into pits. The lap was not going to be quick enough, and practices a very, very difficult pit lane. And of course there you can see the new lights that are on here. Nanvit Chowdhury there getting 4th position in qualifying. Panchal, of course, we know was down in on the lane. Prasanna Rajan trying to find a bit more time, coming over towards the line. Is there anything left? Answer is it stays into 7th position for the time being. So not much you can... Actually, no, it does jump up into 4th place. So Prasanna Rajan does jump into 4th. That's a great qualifying time from him. And that pretty much is the field all but done. So we're going to step aside very briefly right now. We will be back with more after this. And there we see a lot on the horizon right now, and we're just getting towards the end of qualifying here, and the drivers will be looking to line up for a standing start on a banked oval, which is always very, very tough. 20 minutes, of course, on the clock, looking to try and find as much as possible out of this one, and it's all about, we'll see where we go from here. The grid then is going to be on screen for you in just a couple of moments' time. This is how everybody is going to be lining up then for this one at the moment. So, at the front, on the pole position, is, of course, going to be Amitesh Rao with Garvit Agrawal alongside Ritesh Rai and Prasanna Rajan on the second row. Then it's Navneet Chowdhury and Sabano Majumdar in 6th position. Janak Panchal 7th and Tej Patel make the top 8. Following that is Aryan Shrivastava there with, of course, Akanuri Abalash there in 10th place. Veer Sheth and Yashkara in the 6th row with Jahan Noble and Ishan Bada. Then it's Siddharth Snell and Aditya Iyer making the next positions. Then those who didn't set times, Debjit Adak, Sharia Kapani, and then you got Kai Prithvi. And as well as that, you've got, of course, Avinash Gupta at the back in 20th position overall. So, what is there to be done? What is there to be battling for? Well, this is where you've got to be really, really alert and on it for how you race in this series. Who is going to be stepping up to the plate? Who is going to be finding exactly what it is needed to in order to gain a really, really favourable result? Well, the only place you can find that is here with IR Esports. Every single battle is going to be key. And, well, we start right now. And it's a really nice start off the front there from Amitesh Rao. No real worries at all as they head towards turns 1, 2 and 3 out here on circuit here. This small left into a larger left as they hit the brakes and go on through. Is everybody okay? One vehicle running off wide from about 5th place backwards, and more drivers running themselves into troubles. It looks like someone's gone straight on then, and that's not ideal, and there's more spinners, and there are 2 off in the grass there at the back. So there are dramas then early on in this one, not so far for those at the front of the field. It was relatively clean. It looked like it was just a couple of solo incidents here and solo incidents there that caused the troubles that we saw right now. Amitesh Rao in control at the front of the pack, but this is a draft circuit, so it's going to be even tougher today to try and pull away where maybe you could do otherwise. On the brakes through the left, and they're now going to start hitting the banking. Goodbye and good night. A big spin for Garvit Agrawal, the championship leader here, and that's a number of points and places that are going to be dropped because of this. Going through and trying to put the power down early on cold tyres, and that is Agrawal all the way back now to position number 12 here in this one. And it could be position 13 if he's not too careful, but there is your leader by a sizable margin as they fight for third. Over and somehow keeping it all going, but the wheel is off the wagon, and there goes I think that was not Navneet Chowdhury, but who was next to Navneet Chowdhury there? Well, Navneet Chowdhury, I should say. Look at that. Bang! Up, over, and oh my goodness, that was a scary, scary accident there. So Navneet Chowdhury getting caught up there in an incident, but for the time being that allows Sabano Majumdar to think about the podium here. 2 wide, 2 deep, taking the big banking line, which is definitely not quicker into the tri-oval, but you do get that small little bit of help here as you hit the brakes. Has to correct and take a huge wide line, hoping not to run into some other drivers. There's Tej Patel in what is 6th position here, as the opening suggestions of this race have been very, very incident-packed here at the moment. One vehicle running wide here, going through the International Horseshoe, which is never going to be a good idea to run wide through, but ultimately doing a good enough job at the moment to not really be too much of a factor for that at the moment. But a number of drivers running into troubles then on lap 1 here of this event. Every driver's thinking about where's the place we can get. There is Sabano Majumdar, 4th position. You can tell by the green that is on the car, and trying to get closer as much as possible, picking up place upon place upon place is key for this championship. Of course, you've got Rai there in 2nd place now, Chowdhury in 3rd, and this is Siddharth Snell, who is going to be in 7th position right now and is chasing down those places and needs to start chasing with a real intent here. They head to this next section right now. Going to tuck up underneath, going to get alongside, going to try and dive through on the inside, and well, no real worries about that one then. Sidar Snell moves up then into position number 6 without any real qualms at all. There is not much you can argue about that one in terms of this race. This is done well. There is Janak Panchal, who is going to be trying to get through as well, and is looking up low, down low goes, and that's almost a seeded and gifted position coming off of the oval banking to make sure that position is given. So Janak Panchal down on the inside currently has that 7th place, but they are going to make that push towards turn 1 and 2 out on track, and again wide line starts to favour. Are they all okay through here? Yes, they are. So Tej Patel obviously finding something that he likes there on the outside. He holds that place without too many worries at all. There are the gaps on the left-hand side of your screen. They're all trying to make sure they go through, but Patel, it was very nearly a case of changes. Once again, Prasanna Rajan has run into troubles over the course of this one, and maybe Janak Panchal is trying to find a way back through again. He is not quite in the position that he wants to be to make that happen, but he does pick up the inside through the West Horseshoe. It's a late inside as well on top of that, so it's a search, but at the moment, a search warrant is all that it is at this stage. And oh no, Ishan Bada into the wall, and that is surely going to have to be a little bit of a recovery right now. So that is going to be something very, very interesting to note as we continue on. Amitesh Rao is currently doing a very, very nice job of things here in first position. There's Ritesh Rai in second, and Zabano Majumdar in third place is now going to have to be very cautious because Navneet Chowdhury is going to be losing out that place, it seems, right now, and that's a comfortable move from Debjit Adak, who has moved up all the way to 4th position now with that overtake. That is such a good run from Debjit Adak, and it could be 3rd position in the not too distant future. Is getting a lovely tow, and it's all about funnel into line and try and make things work. The more they do run that though, 2 tyres there on the oval side and 2 tyres on the apron, they are going to be wearing out those tyres a lot here in terms of this event. And now 6th place might be the next change. There's Janak Panchal, there's 2 wide just in front actually of Panchal. Oh no, all 3 of them have come together in a big accident in a huge way going through. We looked at it from Panchal. It was Garvit Agrawal on the outside. Who was it on the inside then that got caught up in that one? It wasn't Tej Patel. It was actually someone else. So Agrawal there with some contact, and bang! All around they go and into a world of hurt. Agrawal has been able to continue the car, but that was definitely not part of the script that they were hoping to get to right now. So what is going to be the case right now for Debjit Adak in 4th place? He's trying to chase down 3rd, and that's a slow Tej Patel, who's gone around for an oopsie-daisy here at what is the corner going onto the oval banking, and effectively he does a Garvit Agrawal at that stage. But because it's later in the race and the field is a lot more spread out, there aren't really many worries about getting back onto track safely and rejoining without too many worries at all. Adak still chasing here in 4th place, but hoping that at least at this point in time there is something on the horizon to go and work for in this race. You can see it in Majumdar in 3rd position. There have been gainers as things have gone on. This is Sharia Kapani, who is trying to move away up further inside the top 10 to 9th position here in this race, and that's going to be worth keeping in mind here. As you can see where every driver finds himself over the course of this, as the likes of Avinash Gupta, for example, was in 8th place. Who's the other driver caught in that incident is now pretty much in no man's land 17th and trying to get repairs. So that's not going to be ideal at all. In terms of drivers' predictions, well, after a crazy start like this, I'm not sure how much of this is going to ring true, but we are expecting to have a little conversation with somebody over who expects to be exactly where. And this is Amitesh Rao at the front of the field, showing that he is top of the pops at the moment. But this was a little insight onto who could potentially do well in this race.
Hey guys, Ishan Badi here. My prediction for today's race is half of the grid is going to take themselves out into T1 and I'm going to capitalize like a legend. But on a serious note, the prediction for today's race is going to be first Garvit, second Sai, and third is going to be Janak or Jahan. Okay guys, enough of talk, I gotta go race.
Well, there goes Ishan Bada, but that doesn't really mean too much in terms of this at the moment, because of the fact that you look at, say, where the field is and how everyone is just being shaken up in this one. There is so much going on. There is Amitesh Rao, but there is Devjit Adak, who is now just jumped up into third position, it looks like, with this one down the inside and trying to pick, going up high side to pick this one up. In fact, no, that's for second place, so something's happened, I think, to Rai. This is for second, and it is, and that's the place. So something happened to Rai that has meant that this race has changed completely. I think it does, as they've gone on through. So Devjit Adak goes through up into second position overall. Majumdar there in second. There is Navneet Chowdhury in what is fifth position, and that is Rai in fourth place then, who has dropped back and has now fallen behind those two. Retest Rai there in fourth position. So I don't know what's happened. I'm pretty sure we won't be able to catch what's happened at all. But they're going wide, too wide in the grass. Sabano Majumdar drops all the way back to fifth then. Just two tyres in the grass. It's so easy to do here at Daytona. And now Siddharth Snell is going to try and go around the outside and pick this one up. Has that one worked out in favour? Oh, you bet it does. So Siddharth Snell getting around the outside, making that move there on the hairpin as we catch it on the replay. And that very nearly ended up in a bit of contact there going through. So Siddharth doing exactly what was needed there to maintain a fifth place at that point in time, keeping the place very nicely. But now they head through the next couple of corners. Amitesh Rao, though, look at the gap then at the front of the field. It does not look like it seems very much, but it is a very, very well worked race at this stage. Majumdar back into sixth. Adak is the battle to look at. The gap is 10 seconds at the moment for Amitesh Rao that he has to work with 10 minutes to go. That is what you call nice in terms of a gap. You like a nice gap in terms of these races. There is Adak in second overall. It's all a very dandy run so far from Devjit Adak, moving through the left-hander of turn number 2, going through the S's section towards the International Horseshoe out here on circuit. But Devjit Adak doing well. Now, on the recovery is Garvit Agrawal. He's up into 7th place. He's been involved in 2 big incidents, one on his own, one with someone else, and is searching for more places. There is Sabano Majumdar, only about 6-7 seconds away down the road. So the focus will be very, very clear. It's about trying to gain as much time as possible here in the later stages. You've also got Sharia Kapani looking down the inside and not quite there. Around the outside of him though, that's for 10th place, going to change to 9th for Aditya Iyer, getting that one done. So that's a nice little move into 9th position then in this race, and not really having any real worries at all about that one. It's Jahan Noble, who's currently classified as being in the 8th place ahead of these two, not having a good run at this circuit today is Jahan Noble, but he is still running around, and like certain events that have been going on today that have just concluded, sometimes you just need to finish in these sorts of races to pick up the big results. Jahan Noble will probably take an 8th place, but will be happy if someone else maybe ran themselves into a couple of troubles out here on the circuit. But we are very, very fastly approaching the final third of this one. Aditya is looking like he is wanting to race Jahan Noble right now. 5 laps to go on the clock as they go through the next left, and that is around the outside for Aditya, and not really any argument from Jahan Noble. Says, you know what? That one is yours. You may have it. And we catch it on the replay, round the outside, and just taking the natural racing line. That is a comfortable overtake from Aditya, as good as it is. As we go back to live pictures for you, ladies and gentlemen. Amitesh Rao, though, has been unchallenged so far in this race, and well, why wouldn't you be at this moment in time? This has been a comfortable drive at this point, and you can't really say that Amitesh Rao has been doing anything overtly wrong here in this one. Got pole position, just stayed out there at the front of the field, and nobody has come within a hair's whisker of him, or even a lot more. You can say that the whole cat is there, and they haven't got anywhere near him at this moment in time, because he is just flying around this field. He has got himself 11 seconds over Adak in second, and there is, Yashkara into the pit attenuator then, going through towards turn 2. How has this one happened? Hitting the brakes and just looping the car as it unsettled, going off of the oval banking onto the road course, and that's a sickening impact, and thank goodness it's sim racing for that sort of hit, because that is side on, right with the driver in the cockpit. So that one not really ideal. There is Navneet Chowdhury in 4th position right now, as the laps are going to come on again and again and again in terms of this race. Now the focus is going to be, well, where are we going to find this one? Where's the move? Look at the draft, look how strong it is. It will hit the pit limit now. It will necessarily hit the limit of what the pace is going to be capable of doing, and there you can see just bop it in the air, and looking around the outside here for 3rd place, looking good. Can you slow it down? Can you slow it down? Yes, you can. And that is 3rd place now for Navneet Chowdhury, who has just picked that one up with some really nice patience. Around the outside has been the order of the day for many a driver, and you cannot really argue with that. That's a comfortable little overtake, and really that's one that needed to be done sooner rather than later, and Navneet Chowdhury took the initiative and said thank you very much in terms of making that move happen. But still got a ways to go here in this race. There is Amitesh Rao at the front, and now these gaps are just starting to open up a little bit then. Right in 3rd position, still on the back of the dark. You've got Chowdhury there in 4th, in 3rd now, who has got through actually on Ritesh Rai, as Snell in his 5th position will be doing quite nicely. But again, it's place upon place upon place that needs to find maybe just a little bit of time to close on in those gaps. There is Siddharth Snell, who is just very comfortably there in the 5th position right now, and a top 5 will be taken. But there is Subarno Majumdar, who will want to get back through inside that top 5, which would be a very, very good result actually as things go. Garvit Agrawal is there in 7th, but time is running out and the gap is far too large for him at the moment to try and really chase things down. There is Navneet Chowdhury at this stage making progress through, but there is one Mr. Ritesh Rai outside looking good. Chowdhury's done exactly the same. He's going to have to take an extra pit exit then, going on through. Oh, dear me, that's not ideal. But we're going to look at a driver who could be doing well, and we're going to see right now how things go after that little moment.
Basically, I'm a graphic designer by profession, but mostly into cars, and good to be part of ISR now. So, yeah. That's it about me. Yeah. So basically, I'm currently working with Reliance as a designer, and apart from that, also, I mean, I do T-shirts and all for automotive enthusiasts as well. So I do this brand called Den of the Driver. So that's I mean, currently it's not active, but yeah, I mean, we have been trying to push it. But yeah, I mean, that's just an enthusiast thing, but by profession, I'm a graphic designer.
Well, there is Navdeep Chowdhury, who is there in 4th place. It could have been 3rd, but not for that spin, which is a detour technically on the inside. And now work to be done once again with not long to go in this race. It's about the concentration factor here in this one. And someone with a great concentration factor at this stage is this driver, Amitesh Rao, at the front by what is now down to just 5 seconds, because Adak has been just clawing on gap, clawing on gap, clawing on gap again and again and again. And in fact, that's not 5 seconds anymore. No way is that 5 seconds. That is a lot less coming over the line. And we'll soon see an update on whether that gap remains 5 seconds, because it very much doesn't look like it here at this stage. Rye in 3rd position. He's only 3 seconds back, but this place here with smaller style vehicles like this makes gaps very, very alluring and almost a lot closer than they actually are in a number of respects they go on through. There is Majumdar, who has dropped back now into 7th position overall, which looks like Agrawal has found a way through now into 6th place in this race, which will be news to his ears, trying to recover as much as possible. But of course, we are running out of time. We are down to the final 2 laps here of this event, and every lap becomes a case of, well, you're running out of time. How are you in a position to gain a place? Not in a position to consolidate, and that, I think, is what we tend to see when it comes to this sort of thing, as Majumdar is trying to go through the right, and hopefully this is all about now trying to stay in range, and it's looking like that's looking less and less likely with every corner that passes by. And now onto that oval banking once more as they start to push on forward. Now down onto the apron and heading towards the bus stop chicane. Once again goes Sabano Majumdar here at this stage. For Amitesh Rao, though, this is being a really, really amazing drive. You can't really ask for too much more than being at the front of the field and feeling like it's all working to plan, and you've done exactly what you've needed to do here in this race. But the gap has been slowly closing. There he goes over the line, and there will be now just one final lap remaining in this race for Amitesh Rao. There is Debjit Adak, who's been closing, hoping there's a mistake late, but is now relying on that mistake more rather than trying to get that place. So Debjit Adak with work to do. Rao just taking the natural line there through the horseshoe, and off goes Chowdhury again, and there's no tyre. He's caught it on the inside, and that's a horrible, horrible accident there for Navneet Chowdhury on the start of the last lap. That will effectively be 3 wheels on my wagon trying to bring the car home, and he's gone straight on there at the international horseshoe. So now that is a case of I'm taking a tow and I'm retiring the car from this race. I really don't want anything more than that. Looked like 1998 Michael Schumacher there going through with that one. But Amitesh Rao will be having no such troubles at the moment. Has himself a handful of corners to go, just the bus stop, and then of course NASCAR's turn 3 and 4 will be on the number. Amitesh Rao now through this left-right. It's so easy to carry too much speed, get it wrong, but this is patience, this is caution, and this is every single lap being led by Amitesh Rao at this moment in time, going through 3 and 4 and looking over towards the start-finish line. There have been a number of drivers who have been trying to get those places. It's looking close for Rai, 2nd and 3rd, but Amitesh Rao will take the junior category Formula race here with a lights to flag victory, and one thoroughly deserved by the way that the drive was conducted. 2nd position then goes to Debjit Adak heading over the line, and it will be Rai who will get that 3rd place as they cross over it. It will be 4th for Snell and 5th. What a recovery for Agrawal, who will get that one, if not any more places. So there you can see drivers making progress. There is Agrawal, who will take 5th. Majumdar will go and get 6th place, and Iyer into 7th position overall in this one outright. Jahan Noble, quiet drive today, but it's all that needs to be at Daytona Beach. You know that this track is one where it really does reward you for consistency, for finding the finish. It's such an easy track on paper, but a difficult one by nature. Confirmation then of results will be up on your screen in the next little moment. Amitesh Rao from Adak, from Rai, Snell there, you can see Siddharth Snell in fourth. There's Amitesh Rao's victory, Debjit Adak in second, and Ritesh Rai in third, Siddharth Snell in fourth, and Garvit Agrawal makes it fifth position in this race. Sixth will go to, of course, Tabano Majumdar, who had a little issue earlier on in the race, and Aditya Iyer will take seventh overall. Jahan Noble is in eighth, Sharia Kapani, a great drive from near the back of the field to ninth place, and Yannick Panchal rounding out the top 10. Yash Kara should be looking to try and pick up 11th place over the line over Navneet Chowdhury at this stage, who is going to be classified no matter what happens as being one lap down over in this event, and the rest of the finishers are scrolling down on the bottom of your screen right now. But you do not want to head off anywhere when it comes to this IR Esports channel and the Indian eRacing Championship, because we've got the Pro event, which has, of course, the reverse grid feature heading over to Laguna Seca. We'll see you in a little bit.
Flag is out. We're underway from WeatherTech Raceway. We're going to Sega for the Junior Series Race 3. And a couple of drivers with a bad start in the mid-pack. Most of the field's been able to get by cleanly, though, as they make their way through the Andretti hairpin for the first time. Warrior was able to jump up to P2 off the start. Agrawal will cycle back to P4 as we take a look at your race leader trying to grow the gap now in towards sector 2 and 3. And one car spins. That's P3. That's Abduck to the inside wall. Car's able to avoid him as the rest of the leaders still continue to go. You see Abduck just lost the back end with that blind corner too low off the corner. And into the sand he goes, now back in 15th position. Patchall there among the drivers who've lost lots of time in this past lap or so. Galdon now losing his time here. This is in P12 in the Andretti hairpin as well. See, trying the wide arc to dive in the corner, too hard on the gas. Bye-bye race car as it swoops around and gets out of the way, drops them back to 18th. Though, as they'll have to deal with cars coming out of the pit lane and more cars crashing out of the lane. That's Bard crashing. Prithvi, believe, also involved in that as well. You can see 2 to 3 cars flipped upside down in the middle of the Andretti hairpin, right as that position battle we were talking about was developing. And he's missed the corner, missed the apex, going out of turn 6. And so, off the corkscrew. Right section is set up, tries to send it hard, and the brakes and spins it. White flag this time as he crashes towards the inside wall. Here comes Agrawal now with a chance to take the lead. Warrior still trying to get his car going. Agrawal passes behind, on by. Garvin Agrawal now to the race lead. Coming to the white flag this time. Big mistake coming out of turn 6 again, this time by Warrior to damage the front wing. And Garvin Agrawal, who has kept the car quiet and clean much of the race. He's now in the lead, but Warrior now in another crash. That is with Kadoru trying to go around him. Sheath also went in the sand trying to pass him for third. Garvin Agrawal out of the final corner will win race 3 at WeatherTech Raceway. We're going to Sega. P2 goes to rail. Holding on by just 0.7 of a second with Sheath coming home in P2. Flag is out. We're underway for race number 5 of the season. Great jump for Ibrahim out the front of the field. Rest of the field 2 to 3 wide in the first quarter. No trouble for the most part. Mid-pack though sees Tija along with Mohammadjot in trouble. 3-4 other cars spinning. Rest of the field able to get through safely. Great start to today's action as trouble. Kuti hits the inside wall. And one of your top drivers in the point standings with severe damage already out of contention. Let's take a look at how close this was for Kumar as Kuti snapped it off the corner. And the Revolver corner and Piper corner fight another driver in this series. Cabin already off the racetrack. This is why, as you see them sent off to the tire barrier, this was in the hairpin corner again. He is, however, pulling away from the 41 machine in the backdrop. Same section though, Mohammed John now under pressure. And goes around with a spin. Kuti dives to the inside. This will close up the gap a little bit for that battle for fourth spot. Remember, if you think back to some of the earlier races, now P12. Here comes the move for P2 though. Ridley finally gets a run to the outside line. Sends it hard on the brakes. Just can't get it to stick quite yet. No, here comes the move to the Revolver corner. Ridley gets space. Durant tries to look to the right side. He loses some grip on the bottom side. To Redmond corner, Ridley has the preferred line for the entry. Get stick before the switchback, yes. And here comes Kuti trying to lap himself, nearly shoved off the racing line. With a gap of more than 14 seconds, Mohammed Ibrahim puts on a clank. He takes home the checkered flag and wins race number 5 of Season 4 of the Mumbai Falcons Indian eRacing Championship. Time for the, in the final corners, will take home second spot. Much needed point performance for him. Cyril Sarang coming home with a podium. Engines are revving, one car's missed just the start, and the green flag is underway as some cars are ready with damage. Cook Day started from the pits, might have been the safe call because Kuti jumped the start and hit the back end of the car in front of him. He hit Kevin, and now Kevin's in the sand trap at the end of Sector 1. Several other drivers involved, including the man who started in second in the attack. They're still trying to get going. Also in it is Sean, all the craziness. All of the race lead are still trying to scrap to figure out who's going to lead the first lap. All over the place, about 10, 15, 20 seconds. One car misses the corner. We're still rumbling along. See some of the mayhem starting to build up to pass the depth. That's Tejan now trying to go to the bottom side. Kumar on the top side, not able to make the move stick. Back single file in that grouping. Tejan, though, missed the corner. Once again, through Rip Piper corner, able to exit the corner strongly, though. Looking along as the 41 makes contact. That is Fernandez now, nearly flipped over. Todd nearly hit from behind. He's back going. But look at the replay. This is what happened. Got some space, but overcooked the entry. Hit the left rear tire and nearly flipped Fernandez and Roy for battles. For the race lead. Mohammed gives the space, and Ibrahim ready to run off and away into the sunset. Right in front of the 41, significant wing damage, and now he'll have to use the faster pair. Look at this. Roy locks it up, getting loose. And there it is right there. No. Still holds him up and actually loops it. Mohammed Ibrahim coming towards the checkered flag. Will keep it calm, cool, and clean. He wins once again, and the full weekend sweep is his in the Mumbai Falcons Indian eRacing Championship in association with Volkswagen Motorsport India in the Pro Series. Mohammed John third, Teja able to defend Riyadh at the stripe just barely.
And it starts right now. A very good start off at the front then as drivers will start to try and funnel and find themselves a way through. They go through the small kick trying to get the power down. They'll all funnel onto the apron here, trying to get the most narrowest line as close to that inside wall as they possibly can. They now start to fan out single file towards turn number 2 and hoping that they've got what it takes. Here, big accident, huge accident. Someone forgot to hit the brakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars involved. The track is jammed in the middle here as they go on through, and surely a safety car must be called for that. That was a huge accident, all going wrong, and what's the big worry about oval racing as they go on through. You can see it right now. Look how many vehicles got caught up in all of this then as they went on through. I count 4, I count 5, I count 6 drivers all getting caught up in all of that at the front. And then for the championship here on the junior category event, everyone down low. One driver just coming out of the pits right now is going to intervene through all of this, but Aguilar gets through without any real worries at all. Then around the outside, you don't often see them, and it was well done. It turned to the inside for the next part of the corner, and that was comfortably done. Very good at finding them through the right-hand bend and over towards 4. Here's Nambi Chowdhury trying to get in on the action as well, trying to get close enough to make a move through the S section. That'll be a slowdown penalty there. It is really disadvantaged here, but can take the later braking line into the corner and has just zoomed on by around the outside. A little Shambada, who has got back down 8. Oh, 8 plays, big spin, contact most likely with that. Driver lights the flag for Garvin Agrawal. Second will be going to Panchal and 10 to tell. Will be the one picking up the podium. So Janak Panchal there having a very good run. There is Jahan Noble in 4th place. Side there as they get themselves going, and racing starts for 20 minutes. An immediate good start then from Mohammed Ibrahim, exactly what is needed as they funnel pretty much single file just behind as they head in towards the opening section of road. For the very first time, it looks like it's all nice and calm through the front 5 drivers at this stage. A little bit of side-by-side going on for 6th and 7th though at the moment, so they funnel through to the international horseshoe, and that looks like Ibrahim's run wide at the front of the field and through goes, oh, spinner, just like that, easily done. But Mohammed Ibrahim has lost the race lead outright here and is immediately going to try and fight that one back here against Amit Kuti, the reigning champion. Mohammed Ibrahim with the mistake on the brakes, the cold brakes here at the International Horseshoe. Coming out to the West Horseshoe though, looks immediately like he wants to try and make a move, but it is Amit Kuti out in front. Mohammed Ibrahim there in 2nd position, and thankfully Sai Prithvi in 3rd. They all dive under the apron here at the time going around, and there we catch it on the slow-mo. Just seeing the back step out, trying to put the power down a little too early, and it for Amit Kuti, and once more as they go through, this time they're going to hold it too wide, both of them into the fence, and just like that, both of them are out of the event with a huge accident. Mohammed Ibrahim tried to hold it around the outside, and just looking at this one as they went on through, oh, only the first left, of course, turns 1 and 2 of the NASCAR banking, goes around the outside, and makes sure to get it, but the Warrior is not clear, not by any stretch of the imagination here, and look at that, a big jank over to the right-hand side to try and make sure that there is room to try and make this move, as Ujwal Belwaria is doing just enough at this stage to maintain that 5th place. There you can see the fantastic green machine in 6th, and look at this from Samaravel. He might try and get down the inside of all of them here to try and make this one happen, but cannot find a way through. He's slightly boxed in there on that inside. There's got to be really careful about how he goes and makes that move. They're down on the inside, on the brakes, into turn numbers 1 and 2 once again, and Samaravel picks up 1 and jumps up then into the 6th position. Overall, the move done on Pratamesh Yedra. They're just getting exactly what was needed. So Yedra with work to do to gain those places back, and has a big lunge over to the right-hand side. Had to half catch that one a bit and has the nose chopped off slightly as well. Heading through the kink towards the West Horseshoe. Always going to be a tough place here to see some battling going on side by side through that section. Often ends up going the wrong way. If you've seen any 24-hour racing at Daytona, you know that when you got 2 vehicles going through there, it's normally a case. Noting that Sai Prithvi has not won a single race so far this season, hails from Chennai, and we'll be looking to try and get as much as possible after this. But there is Kotadia going back around the outside of Niranjan Kumar to pick up the place as they head to the International Horseshoe once more. It's a 4-car scrap going on for one spot on the podium. There's King as they head towards turn 1. Look at Sam Ravel, he's got to think about which way to go, and there's a little bit of contact there. Round goes 2 as there was Kopadia and also Niranjan Kumar coming together, and you can see it from this. I want a little different angle of this one here. I wonder how much of that one came down in. Oh, it was 2 into 1, the natural line trying to be taken there by one Mr. Kopadia, but Kumar was taking that wider line. He could dictate the pace. For your hand, Sai Prithvi. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your IERC, your Indian eRacing Championship. And the battling that we have going on right now is going to move over to race 10 of the Pro Division. Such an entertaining season this has been so far. Anything that can go on pretty much has gone on in terms of this season so far. We've seen ups and downs and different lead changes, time in and time out. But there is only one key fact in terms of how people have been looking at. It's how close the championship has been. It now lands in the lap of Mohammed Ibrahim, and this could be something really worth watching here so far today. My name's Jake Sperry here, bringing you along for the ride here in terms of this battling that we've got going on, but we are going to step aside very briefly for one moment as we are back with more after this. What is to be looking forward to in the not too distant future, but we find ourselves a minute away from a 12-car reversed grid, but with more drivers in the grid at the back, of course, from what was a very entertaining battleground that we saw earlier on in the day yesterday, where Mohammed Ibrahim took the win, and took the win quite comfortably. Now becomes a case of drivers having to be cautious around this place today, especially after the safety cars that were picked up in the later parts of the event, and especially at the beginning where it all started to go awry for a number of people. This needs to be a really, really good run for certain drivers, as some look to impress, others are looking just to hold on to place, and anything is possible over the course of 20 minutes. A number of drivers could be caught up instant here and instant there. We'll be moving over to the gridding process in just one moment's time, and we'll do so after this. So on the grid then, for pole position in your round 10 will be Raghav Budaraja here at the front. Ujwal Warrior starts second, and it's Swayaj Yadav in third. Divyang Dodia fourth, Sai Prithvi fifth, and Siddharth Medarata sixth. Then it's Sahil Shah, Prathamesh Yedra, Sai Saran, and Amit Kuti, Niranjan Kumar, Mohammed Ibrahim making the first 12. Vishwash Vijay Rai, Oshan Kotadia, then Rohit Raut and Sai Sanjay make 15 and 16. Raiden Samravel, Kaushik Mohan Raja, Ankit Roy B. Cabin, and Karen Kaushik make the 21 here today, who will be starting this one off of the grid. It's going to be a very interesting battle that we'll see at the front. Raghav Budaraja will be the driver on pole. We're looking here at second position right now as we get ourselves ready and going here in this race. That is Ujwal Belwaria in second. It's a good start for Budaraja here at the front of the field as they will all funnel through towards turn 1, turn 2. And it looks like cones and looks like Belwaria's already off and into the wall hard there at the back of shot. So not ideal at all as they make a start. Someone spins, 2 more go around and more dramas there as I believe that's Kuti who's been caught up in all of it. A massive accident then to start through turn 2 and surely a caution flag may just have to be waved here for this one after incidents earlier on. Raghav Budaraja doing a pretty nice job of things and there is the caution that comes out. So Prithvi has already jumped to second through all of that. Mohammed Ibrahim jumped through everybody to get up to third place. The seas parted for him on the outside as he went on through, and he is such a lucky driver to get through it where someone like, say, Amit Kuti didn't. And now it's a battle between Prithvi, Budaraja and Ibrahim for this one. Saeed Saran now up towards Swaj Yadav in 5th, and Oshan Kotadia, who started 14th, is already up into the 6th position here in this one. Sai Sanjay is desperately trying to bring the car home on 3 wheels to get a fast repair here as quickly as possible. This is very interesting. I think Amit Kuti is just okay running at this stage. Has done a pretty decent job of surviving after being involved with the contact that had gone on. Got a little bit lucky that he'd gone through most of it without too much damage. A little bit of net code there coming in, but look at the slew of cars down on the lane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, and 11 dives down on the lane, all with troubles here and troubles there. So those drivers have round themselves into the pits. Sai Sanjay's missed the pits and is trying to continue on with 3 wheels. I think someone needs to tell him that he's only got 3 wheels on his wagon. That will not be ideal at all, but wow. I did not expect to see 10 cars down on the lane after the opening section of this race. They will all have to take tows, which will take time, and then they will get as much as they can here. Tyres will go on, they'll get a fast repair. They are unlimited here in this one, but there is Sai Prithvi in 2nd position here in this one, just behind Raghav Budaraja, who started this one on pole position. Just 11 have gone round the start-finish line to be on that opening leading lap, and well, that really does say all that you need to know at this stage about how they are running right now as they go on through. There are, of course, still those questions around Sai Sanjay, who will need to come down into the pit and get that tyre all sorted out. I'm surprised that they haven't said anything just yet out of this, but Raghav Budaraja, well, he knows that half the field have run into troubles, and that's the easy bit in terms of this one. Everybody just running in formation behind the safety car right now, and they'll be looking to try and get themselves going quite nicely, and it should be a very interesting look at things right now. That Porsche iRacing first safety car doing its job quite nicely as they drive around and look to try and get on through, but for the time being, it's all going to be taking time off the clock, which Raghav Budaraja will be certainly quite happy about then at this stage. They go on through, but the main title contenders, Sai Prithvi, Mohammed Ibrahim, Amit Kuti, they've relatively just got through that. A lot of questions about whether maybe Amit Kuti came through that incident maybe a little too quickly there for the liking, trying to push to try and find a way by, but you sort of have to try and work out where's the best place to go in an incident, and that is not really quite the plan. Ujwal Belwaria has just spun it coming out of the pits then. That's not the plan at all. A lot will come in. Sai Sanjay's got a fast repair, as have a number of other drivers. Karen Kaushik has come in and out again, as has Sahil Shah, but a number of those drivers like Siddhan Medarata and Naranjan Kumar, they have all got themselves back out and away again, but they will be roughly 1 lap down here in terms of this one as they look to push on forward here in this event. The lights should be off on top of the iRacing Porsche safety car, and they are. We will be going back to racing here at Wentec Raceway, Laguna Seca here, and it will be a tough order for Raghav Budaraja to get himself ahead, or stay ahead of Sai Prithvi and Mohammed Ibrahim and Sai Saran and Swaraj Yadav, who will all be looking to try and gain places in the early goings of this one. Never say never, but we know how good one certain driver is at picking up results, and that of course is Mohammed Ibrahim, who'll be looking forward. You can see every driver just trying to find out, is the car still okay with the fast repairs? They try and get some life into the tyre. Oh my goodness me, how on earth has Siddharth Mediratta run into someone underneath safety car conditions there? That is not part of the game. There'll have to be a big look at how that one all came about there, and that has taken a tyre off of Mediratta as well, so that is definitely not part of the plan. We are going back to green flag running this time by, but Mediratta will be doing so with 3 wheels and will have to dive down into the pits again, so that definitely not ideal at all from Siddharth Mediratta. That's not good, as in comes one driver to get a stop, and let's get ourselves back to green flag running then here at the WeatherTech Raceway. Laguna Seca, Raghav Buddharaja now on a rolling start, going on through and doing a nice job of things at the moment as they hit the brakes and go through the opening corner. Prithvi looking around the outside to make this happen. Not going to be having at the moment. Side by side with 5th and 6th in the background though, that we just saw of Shot moving through the next section. That's Oshan Kopadia going at it, trying to pick this one up, and does so, question mark, going through turn 4, yes, there for Oshan Kopadia, who has got victory in the last one of these reverse races, and he will be absolutely loving things at the moment. P5, there's Sahil Shah in 8th place, trying to get close enough to maybe spear away a 7th position at this stage, and trying to go on through, and wow, indeed, Sai Prithvi, and there off goes Raghav Buddharaja from the race lead as they go through. A bit of contact as they went through the corner, and a heavy hit for Raghav Buddharaja, who finds himself in the outside looking in. Is there any damage to Sai Prithvi? The answer to that is no. So Prithvi is okay then for the time being as they continue on, but there will be an inquest maybe into how that overtake happened. It looked like there was a little bit of netcode which did not really help with proceedings, but now Mohammed Ibrahim senses that the iron is hot, and now is the time to strike, looking to go around the outside maybe here at the Andretti hairpin to make this one happen. There will be traffic on pit exit here as he tries to search for the move. Prithvi has to play the defensive card here, and the traffic comes up right in the middle, so that's going to be a case of dive down to the inside. Oh no, traffic took the normal line. Ibrahim was trying to get down the inside, and there's the contact going through. You have to yield if you're lap traffic there. Mohammed Ibrahim, he had his nose fully alongside on the inside, and that is just a case of a driver swiping away around, and that is nothing that Mohammed Ibrahim could do in that scenario. How much damage though now does Ibrahim have, as both of your leading 2 drivers have run into troubles? He looks okay for the moment. Sai Sanjay in 3rd, Kopadia in 4th, and Turan in 5th. Kaushik now has dropped back into the 6th position. We are now down to what is 9 drivers here on the leading lap. Amit Kuti down in 8th place, but really it is the front drivers who have themselves exactly what they need to at this moment in time as they continue on their way. This is Amit Kuti on screen though, 8th position, damage limitation it must be here at this stage. It's going to be a tall order to gain any more places from where he is right now on track. He is a full 18 seconds behind Sahil Shah at this moment as Shah goes through the final corner. Kuti goes through the corkscrew. That's how different it is. And there is Sai Prithvi at the front of this field, and there is more traffic on exit. That is, of course, Raghav Buddharaja, who gets out of the way of Sai Prithvi, and now Mohammed Ibrahim will be looking to try and find a way through as soon as possible here in this one. So, in terms of podium finishes for Mohammed Ibrahim in this series, he has done so well, as I believe Maharaja may have just run into a couple of issues right now, and that one is a huge accident with Mediratta, who had 3 wheels, spun it, and bang, into the side. Nothing you can do. Mediratta was trying to bring his stricken car home, and I think you've just got to tow it at that point. That's a little bit silly trying to drive that sort of a vehicle home that's got absolutely nothing going for it here, especially as some of the leaders now are trying to go through. There's a spin again, and really we should just look at something else really, because that's not what sim racing is all about at that stage, and I'm sure a harsh punishment should be going the way of Siddharth Mediratta. But Sai Prithvi here at the moment is controlling this race at the front. We are at the halfway stage, but Mohammed Ibrahim has time on side at this stage to think about how to get within the right margin to make the right move. Hasn't had anything decisive as of yet, but of course Cyprus will be fighting hard here in terms of this race to make sure that nothing goes awry, nothing goes askew, and that as much damage to the rotation is done as possible here to try and gain points in the championship compared to Ibrahim, who took the championship lead away yesterday and is looking to do more here as they go on through. Up the hill they come along now, towards turn number 6, the one-line super left-hand bend, which is so very tight as they go on through, and they continue now to start making progress looking towards that fantastic corkscrew corner, which is so tough to get right at the best of the time. So they go through it without any dramas, and now they start looking at, okay, what's next as they dive on through. More drivers getting in onto the lane, but in third position, Sai Sanjay is not a million miles away from everything. But Araja is in the middle of Kotadir and Saran as well, which is another little fight out there on track, but the race lead battle is still there at the moment. Saran's doing nicely there in 5th, closing right up to Kotadir. There is Sahil Shah in 7th place, who is going to dive down into the pits with a bit of damage potentially, or maybe even a penalty of some kind to try and serve and get away. Maybe incidents it could be after such a hectic start to the event, but that will bring Amit Kuti potentially chances to gain positions, and they've just changed for the race lead. Mohammed Ibrahim down the inside of turn 1. Sai Prithvi caught napping. That was banzai and a half there from Mohammed Ibrahim, who had so much more confidence on the brakes into turn 1 and took the place away. So Sai Prithvi now back into 2nd, and Mohammed Ibrahim now will gain even more points in the championship effort, and it would be for the 3rd time this season that he would have picked up back-to-back race wins on a weekend, on a Saturday and a Sunday. It would be his 6th race win of the season here if it stays this way. So Mohammed Ibrahim absolutely rocketing at the moment. There is Sai Sanjay in 3rd place, still not a million miles away here from those drivers at the front of the pack, and trying everything to stay within a close buffer margin to try and make sure that a podium is exactly what the doctor ordered. Kotadir under pressure still from, of course, who is behind, but Araja gets out of the way on the front stretch. Saeed Saran wants to dive through on the inside. Now it's a drag race over towards turn 2. Get back into line, funnel on through, and who's brave on the brakes as they hit in towards turn 2 here, this hairpin, and the big wide line being taken as they all go by. So Saeed Saran doing a nice job of things at the moment as they go through the next right-hander of turn number 3 out on track, and they are really searching for every place to be that which is very much one and labelled as one at this moment in time. Other drivers at the moment who are doing well out on track. Karen Koshik is in 6th place and has done a very good job as Sahil Shah has come in and out of the pits actually now in 7th position. The gap down to 15 seconds on the road as they all navigate on through with about 6 3/4 minutes to go on the clock. Saran down the hill and at the corkscrew, hoping that there is going to be a chance for overtaking here in this fight for 4th place. It's looking good so far, but patience is a virtue as well, as many people have found out in these sorts of races. And now you start to look at this one on the brakes. Final corner again. It's been nearly 3 laps now since we've seen that gap stay at exactly what it is, and it might just be here that Roshan Kotadir is holding on to that 3rd place without really any worries at all in this one. On the brakes, down the hill into turn 2 once again, and Saran has no real worries about things at the moment, as it looks like they are going to be staying exactly how they have to at this moment, but it's not what Saran needs. He needs that 4th place coming into the week. He was a little bit down in the championship, was one Mr. Saeed Saran, as he has only had 1 or 2 starts this season. So Saran here with a 5th place would absolutely vault up the points tables back into something a little bit more respectable for what he is capable of doing, and 5th place looks very capable at this moment in time. So we'll see how that one plays out for Saeed Saran in this one. The lead gap now up to 1.2 seconds now for Mohammed Ibrahim. and that is the spirit breaker in this race. He was very happy with the way that he's been driving so far, and there you can see Sai Prithvi is desperately trying to hang on in terms of this race. The gap is 1.3 seconds now at the moment, and Mohammed Ibrahim is just slowly but surely etching out a gap, and almost like an artist's first sketch, it is going to be a case of Sai Prithvi looking a little rougher around the edges, trying to close that gap down and getting the right lighting, the right shading, the right everything to try and gain those places back. Sai Sanjay has done a brilliant job actually in third position. You can't really argue too much against that here in this race. He has driven flawlessly into that third position after starting a long way back, 16th on the grid, and to be in third is absolutely wonderful, especially with the fact that keeping up with race pace is the key at the moment. A number of drivers, of course, as well find themselves one lap down, but Raja and Naranjan Kumar are fighting for the final spot inside of the top 10 at the moment, and everybody else is pretty much spaced out as Didier Bonnier is coming into the pits as Kaushik Mohan Raja is going on through without really any worries at all here in this one. The race has gone by so quickly and has been so entertaining. We haven't really had a chance to talk driver prediction. This was someone maybe to have had a little bit of a look at here today in this race.
Okay, so myself, I'm Ankit Roy. I am from Chandigarh, and I've been racing with IR Esports for quite a time, and I've been having a great time. Businessman, I run a business, and it's a digital marketing business that I run. And other than that, I'm an artist as well. I make rap music. So we were like one of the first crew in Chandigarh to make a rap video and to start music back in 2008. And we're still doing it. And
that's Ankit Roy, 13th position, one lap down, not part of the plan. There are questions here today in terms of this one. So the three questions that you've got as normal enters you into a draw if you say it correctly. Firstly, who is the only Indian to win an official Grand Prix? Secondly, who was the first female Formula One driver? And thirdly, who was the famous Formula One driver who suffered a near-fatal crash in 1976? Answers on the postcard, answers in the comments right now if you are looking to try and enter. Mohammed Ibrahim in control of this field and doing exactly what he needs to. We're going to have a quick 10-second look away right now, but we'll be back with more after this. And we're back, and this is Saeed Saran in fifth place, still searching for that fourth position against Oshan Kopadia. And at the moment, it seems that Oshan is just doing enough, keeping the car out of harm's reach of Saeed Saran, trying to pick up the place as much as possible, but really not finding it, and not finding it at all very fair. It's almost a case of being stuck in dirty air. You don't get much in Formula 3 vehicles, but enough of which where it is starting to just play a little bit of havoc here in this event at the moment. Everybody looking, everybody searching for something that is going to work out, and they are just not with much at this stage in terms of finding overtakes. But Saran right up behind, close enough this time where he could have a look up into the corkscrew, potentially wants to be brave on the brakes. You're going to make it happen there, and on the brakes into the left and the right, not just yet, but it's all about getting a run here from the rainy curve. Maybe a look at turn 12 might be the place where we see Saeed Saran start to attack. He's using all of the road now. This is prime and ideal. We really don't have long to go here in this race, and on the brakes we go into the final corner, and nothing doing just yet. We've still got another good run here in the toe. This is pretty much a 10th and a bit that they go over the line, and here comes Saeed Saran for fourth place. He's going to have to think about this one. He's going to have to think about the long way around on this one. He's going to have to think, is it enough on this one? It's not on this one, and as such they stay behind and keep to the positions that they have at the moment. They have the Budi Raja and Kumar battle behind them as well, one lap down. That will not be doing them any favours. And speaking of not many favours, Mohammed Ibrahim has got blue flags aplenty that he wants to be waving right now, as he'll have a lap to go after this as he goes on through. He's been driving incredibly quickly. That's Kaushik Mohan Raja. He's trying to get through. He's done so. And then you've got Swaraj Yadav and Ushwal Belwaria trying to get through. Sai Prithvi just not quite there at the moment. This will be the last lap they will be starting next time by as they go on through. So they will funnel themselves going on down. Rajan Kumar is looking quite feisty for that top 10, but he is not looking like he's finding it at the moment against Raghav Buddharaja in what has been a very, very incident-filled race. The final lap now starts. Mohammed Ibrahim, his gap 2.2 seconds over Sai Prithvi. Sai Sanjay currently in third, and Kondamir and Saran again looking close. This is maybe one of the last times we could see this overtake happen, and the opportunity has to be done bravely here. Sai Saran has got to get to the inside here. He thinks about it. Oh no! No, 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 no. Both of them run into each other, and now it's a case of can they get it home from where they are. Saran's starting to struggle on the power, and now that will bring more drivers in, like Karan Kovshik, who could very easily pick up a top 5 out of this compared to Saeed Saran. Up the hill, though, is going Mohammed Ibrahim without too many worries at all. He still has a bit of traffic to deal with right now. So does Sai Prithvi, though, and that's going to be key. Rounding through the final couple of corners, it is Swaraj Yadav who will have to get out of the way right now for Mohammed Ibrahim, who has done a wonderful, wonderful job in this race, and once more has gone and made it again. Both races on the night. He just has this ability to do so. Win number 6 of the season for Mohammed Ibrahim as he comes over the line. Prithvi will take a second, and we'll have an acknowledgement that that one went one way and one way only. Third place is going to Sai Sanjay. Fourth, it looks like will be Oshan Kottadias, and Karan Kaushik has found a way through on Sai Saran to pick up the top 5 in the late stages of the race. In terms of where that overtake happened for Karan Kaushik, it happened into turn number 6 where that one happened. A rare place to make a move, but Karan Kaushik has done exactly that. What was needed over the line. Sahil Shah also gets past Sai Saran come the end, who struggles very late and actually spins in the final corner with contact from Divyang Dodia there late into the corner. So that one not ideal at all. Another place gained in what will have to be a very heavily reviewed race after this one, because a whole lot of things went very, very wrong from start over to end. But with pretty much everybody over the line, classified results are as follows. Mohammed Ibrahim wins this one in a time of 21 minutes and 15 seconds by 1.8 over Sai Prithvi, and Sai Sanjay, starting 16th, gets third place. Oshan Kottadia gets 4th overall, with Karan Kaushik in 5th place and Sohail Shah in 6th. Sai Saran, after contact on the final lap, goes from 5th all the way down to 7th, with Amit Kuti in 8th position, nursing damage all the way home, and Swaraj Yadav in 9th position. One lap down was everybody else. They all ran into troubles. They all needed to get themselves a tow here today, and of course Raghav Buddharaja was one of them. Naranjan Kumar as well, finding himself in troubles. Ankit Roy, Vishwash Vijayaraj, with the likes of B. Kavin, Ujwal Belwaria, Pratimesh Yedra, Divyang Dodia is 3 laps down, along with Kaushik Mohanraja and Rohit Raut. And then not making it home, Siddharth Medarata, who tried desperately a lot of the time to get 3 wheels around more rather than 4, and Raiden Samravel out in the opening section then of this race. A lot to dissect, a lot to discuss, and we'll do so with the race winner, Mohammed Ibrahim. Well, that was a very, very interesting race for you. It very much fell to a battle between you and Sai Prithvi after Buddharaja ran into troubles there, Mohammed, but ultimately got the move done with a banzai dive at turn number 1, and ultimately not looking back since then.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, it was a good race. Coming from 12th to winning the race was quite unexpected, especially after the first few laps after the safety car and seeing so many crashes. I thought something might happen to me as well, but good thing I won the race though.
A good thing for a race win. You have a habit of converting these 12th place starts into victories. It's your 3rd time in a row that you've been able to manage that feat so far, your 6th win of the season. Is there just something about this reverse grid race that just suits your driving style?
I wouldn't say it suits my driving style, but it's just that, you have to be really, really careful and go into the right spaces at the right time and sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's a lot of luck and not necessarily skill. A bit of skill is required though, but it's mostly luck, and you just have to be lucky.
A case of praise the stars then might be the case. But now
Yeah.
looking forward, you extend the lead again in the championship now as you start to really find that form. Is it a case of now just zero mistakes and you feel like your pace will take you on from here?
Yeah, hopefully, if I don't make any mistakes, and I think my pace should do the job.
Well, before we let you go, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Yes, I would like to thank you, the commentators, Mohit Dinodia, IR Esports, Mumbai Falcons, Volkswagen Motorsport India, and everyone who's involved in making this event happen. Thank you very much. Bye.
Mohammed Ibrahim then picking up the race victory overall. Second position would go to Sai Prithvi, who's with me right now. And Sai, that was a race for a number of reasons, and it had a lot of entertainment value to it. But it was all about your battle with Mohammed Ibrahim after contact with Raghav Budaraja. We all understood it was netcode, but in terms of how that pass came about, it wasn't the way you wanted it to be, but ultimately it left you with a 1v1 showdown.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was netcode actually. I thought it was my fault. I don't know how he went off in that lap. I have to apologize to him later on. But I really enjoyed the battle with Ibrahim. I was really happy with my pace today because I was able to keep up with him in the first few laps, and then I decided to go conservative and just bring the car home.
Well, you were conservative, you brought the car home. How frustrating was it to be in a safety car position after the opening couple of corners, and especially the fact that you look down at your relative when the safety car comes out and you find your nearest rivals gain 9 places in 3 corners?
I think Ibrahim gained a lot of positions before the safety car itself. So I kind of expected that. I was just working on my own race and trying to maintain whatever pace I could manage and make sure that whatever happens, I just managed to avoid all the crashes because the setup was way more different due to the iRacing update, and I think there were more crashes due to that.
Well, of course, setup changes as well always makes life a little bit tougher, but you now start to think about, okay, what's next? Next part of the championship, you're looking at round 11, round 12. Is this a case now of knowing that rivals behind like Amit Kuti and Niranjan Kumar ran into troubles today? Your focus now solely going to be on Mohammed Ibrahim and getting second, if not first, in the championship?
I just want to focus on one race at a time and just not worry about the championship for the time being. I just want to improve on my general pace and confidence and become a better driver in general.
That's a wise decision, of course, there, Mr. Prithvi. So before we let you go, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Yeah, I'd like to thank IR Esports firstly for hosting this event, Red Bull India, eRacing, Mumbai Falcons, and yeah, that's it.
Sai Prithvi there, coming home with second position. We are going to get a little word actually now with Karan Kaushik, who came home in 5th position and is stood by with me right now. So Karan, it's not often that we find you this high up in the order, but it seems like all the stars aligned here with all of the incidents that came around today. And from a hectic race from your standpoint, a top 5 would be absolutely a dreamland for you.
I mean, definitely, it's like absolutely wonderful. I didn't expect that going into this race. I was starting at like the exact back of the grid, so I was picturing somewhere close to a top 10. And I had a couple of close encounters, but managed to keep off of the incidents, and basically kept it safe and didn't make any mistakes. So yeah.
A number of drivers ran themselves today into a lot of troubles in terms of damage and tried to drive the car home. Do you think that something needs to be put in place here from the team to maybe make sure that people aren't driving stricken and wounded vehicles back home to the garage?
I mean, yeah, I think there should be something done, but I'm not sure what can be done. I think I'll leave that up to the sponsors and organizers. They know the best. But a lot of the times it's just, a lot of incidents is caused by, people with damage, driving around damaged cars. Maybe they can tow it to the pits or something like that. And myself as well was stuck behind someone who had a front right damage during the safety car period, thankfully. And I had to go, an entire lap behind him with like twice slower than the actual safety car pace. So yeah, that was definitely frustrating, but I'm not sure if too much can be done. But I think there needs to be something put into place so that everyone can have a good race and enjoy it.
Well, a very, very good event for you, nevertheless, at the expense of a few others. But now you start thinking about round 11, round 12, just building some momentum. It's a case for you of just see how far you get up, isn't it, Karan?
Oh, definitely. I've been struggling this entire season, round 9 now, and I haven't got, I've never had like a decent race. I've never been proud of, what the places I've finished, and it's just been like a nothing can go worse kind of moment. And today, I think this is the beginning of something where I can pick up a couple of places, get higher in the championship order, and let's see what we can do, try and build up the momentum from here on.
I know the feeling. It's exactly the same for myself when I go racing on iRacing. But before we let you go, Karan, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
I mean, all the sponsors and organizers, they've been doing a wonderful job organizing this amazing event. I've had lots of fun, driving around with these people. Keeping the crashes aside, we've had a lot of fun, and, I've made good friends. So thank you, everyone, to, organize this amazing event.
Karan Koshik there, getting a 5th place finish, and very, very excited with the way that one went. But that's where we bring proceedings to a close here today. We'll be looking towards the next rounds of the championship. Rounds, of course, 11 and 12 will be definitely worth keeping an eye out on here with IR Esports and the Indian eRacing Championship. But a massive thanks has to go to everyone that you can see on screen right now, from Indy Karting, from Raya Racing, from Volkswagen Motorsport India, #GamerConnect, Mumbai Falcons Racing Limited, and of course, to all of you who have been watching. My name's been Jake Sperry, and in a very hectic, very tumultuous race, Mohammed Ibrahim makes sure he gets his 6th race win of the season. Is there anybody who can find a way to stop him, reverse grid or otherwise? Only place you're going to be finding out is next time on October 10th, and we will see you there.
And the green flag is out. We're underway from WeatherTech Raceway. We're going to Sega for the Junior Series Race 3. And a couple of drivers with a bad start in the mid-pack. Most of the field's been able to get by cleanly, though, as they make their way through the Andretti hairpin for the first time. Warrior was able to jump up to P2 off the start. Agarwal will cycle back to P4 as we take a look at your race leader trying to grow the gap now in towards sector 2 and 3. And one car spins. That's P3. That's Abduct to the inside wall. Car's able to avoid him as the rest of the leaders still continue to go. You see Abduct just lost the back end with that blind corner too low off the corner. And into the sand he goes, now back in 15th position. Catch-all Cadero among the drivers who have lost the time in this past lap or so. Galdon now losing his time here. This is in P12 in the Andretti hairpin as well. He's trying the wide arc to dive in the corner, too hard on the gas. Bye-bye race cars. It loops around and gets out of the way. Drops them back to 18th, though, as they'll have to deal with cars coming out of the pit lane and more cars crashing out of the lane. That's Bard crashing. Preet believe also involved in that as well. You can see 2 to 3 cars flipped upside down in the middle of the Andretti hairpin, right as that position battle we were talking about was developing. And he's missed the corner, missed the apex, going out of turn 6. Until off the corkscrew. Or in section of setup, tries to send it hard to the brakes and spins it. White flag this time as he crashes towards the inside wall. Here comes Agrawal now with a chance to take the lead. Warrior still trying to get his car going. Agrawal passes on by. Garvin Agrawal now to the race lead. Coming to the white flag this time. Big mistake coming on the turn 6 again, this time by Warrior to damage the front wing. And Garvin Agrawal, who has kept the car quiet and clean much of the race, he's now in the lead for Warrior now in another crash. That is with Kadoru trying to go around him. Sheath also went in the sand trying to pass him for 3rd. Garvin Agrawal out of the final corner will win race 3 at WeatherTech Race 3. We're going to Sega. P2 goes to rail. holding on by just 0.7 of a second, with Sheep coming home in P. Flag is out. We're underway for race number 5 of the season. Great jump for Ibrahim out the front of the field. Rest of the field 2-3 wide in the first quarter. No trouble for the most part. Mid-pack though sees Tija along with Mohammed in trouble. 3-4 other cars spinning. Rest of the field able to get through safely. Great start to today's action as trouble. Kuti hits the inside wall. And one of your top drivers in the point standings with severe damage already out of contention. Let's take a look at how close this was for Kumar as Kuti snapped it off the corner. And the Revolver corner and Piper corner fight another driver in this series. Cabin already off the racetrack. This is why, as you see them sent off to the tire barrier, this was in the hairpin corner again. He is, however, pulling away from the 41 machine in the backdrop. Same section though, Mohammed now under pressure. And goes around with a spin. Kuti down to the inside. This will close up the gap a little bit for that battle for 4th spot. Remember, if you think back to some of the earlier races, now P12. Here comes the move for P2 though. Ridley finally gets a run to the outside line. Sends it hard on the brakes. Just can't get it to stick quite up yet. No, here comes the move to the Revolver corner. Ridley gets things. Durant tries to look to the right side. He loses some grip on the bottom side. To Redmond corner, Ridley has the preferred line for the entry. Gets stick before the switchback, yes. And here comes Kuti trying to lap himself, nearly shoved off the racing line. With a gap of more than 14 seconds, Mohammed Ibrahim puts on a clank. He takes home the checker flag and wins race number 5 of season 4 of the Mumbai Falcons Indian eRacing Championship. Time for the, in the final corners, will take home 2nd spot. Much needed points performance for him. Cyril Sarang coming home with a podium. Engines are revving, one car's missed just the start, and the green flag is underway as some cars are ready with damage. Kuti started from the pits, might have been the safe call because Kuti jumped the start and hit the back end of the car in front of him. He hit Kevin, and now Kevin's in the sand trap at the end of Sector 1. Several other drivers involved, including the man who started in second in the Adav. They're still trying to get going. Also in it is Sean, all the craziness. All as the race lead are still trying to scrap to figure out who's going to lead the first lap. It's all over the place, about 10, 15, 20 seconds. One car misses the corner. We're still rumbling along. See some of the mayhem starting to build up to pass the depth. That's Tejan now trying to go to the bottom side. Kumar on the top side, not able to make the move stick. Back single file in that grouping. Tejan, though, missed the corner. Once again, through Rip Piper corner, able to exit the corner strongly, though. Looking along as the 41 makes contact. That is Fernandez now, nearly flipped over. Todd nearly hit from behind. He's back going. But look at the replay. This is what happened. Got some space, but overcooked the entry. Hit the left rear tire and nearly flipped for Studio and Roy for battles for the race lead. Mohammed gives the space, and Ibrahim ready to run off and away into the sunset. Right in front of the 41, significant wing damage, and now he'll have to use the fast repair. Look at this. Roy locks it up, getting loose. And there it is right there. No. Still holds him up and actually loops it. Mohammed Ibrahim coming towards the checkered flag will keep it calm, cool, and clean. He wins once again, and the full weekend sweep is his in the Mumbai Falcons Indian eRacing Championship in association with Volkswagen Motorsport India in the Pro Series. Mohammed Shah in third, Tija able to defend, be at the stripe just barely.
It starts right now. A very good start off at the front then as drivers will start to try and funnel and find themselves a way through. They go through the small kick, trying to get the power down. They'll all funnel onto the apron here, trying to get the most narrowest line as close to that inside wall as they possibly can. They now start to fan out single file towards turn number 2 and hoping that they've got what it takes. Here, big accident, huge accident. Someone forgot to hit the brakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars involved. The track is jammed in the middle here as they go on through, and surely a safety car must be called for that. That was a huge accident, all going wrong, and what's the big worry about oval racing as they go on through. You can see it right now. Look how many vehicles got caught up in all of this then as they went on through. I count 4, I count 5, I count 6 drivers all getting caught up in all of that at the front of the championship here on the junior category event. Everyone down low. One driver just coming out of the pits right now is going to intervene through all of this, but Aguilar gets through without any real worries at all. Then around the outside, you don't often see them, and it was well done. It turned to the inside for the next part of the corner, and that was comfortably done. Very good at finding them through the right-hand bend and over towards 4. Here's Nambi Chowdhury trying to get in on the action as well, trying to get close enough to make a move through the S section. That'll be a slowdown penalty there. It is really disadvantaged here, but can take the later braking line into the corner and has just zoomed on by around the outside. A little Shambada who has dropped back down. 8 plays, big spin, contact most likely with that. Driver lights the flag for Garvit Agrawal. Second will be going to Panchal, and 10 to tell will be the one picking up the podium. So Janat Panchal there having a very good run. There is Jahan Noble in 4th place. Side there as they get themselves going, and racing starts for 20 minutes. An immediate good start then from Mohammed Ibrahim, exactly what is needed as they funnel pretty much single file just behind as they head in towards the opening section of road. For the very first time it looks like it's all nice and calm through the front 5 drivers at this stage. A little bit of side by side going on for 6th and 7th though at the moment as they funnel through to the international horseshoe, and that looks like Ibrahim's run wide at the front of the field, and through goes, oh, spinner, just like that, easily done. But Mohammed Ibrahim has lost the race lead outright here and is immediately going to try and fight that one back here against Amit Kuti, the reigning champion. Mohammed Ibrahim with the mistake on the brakes, the cold brakes here at the International Horseshoe. Coming out to the West Horseshoe though, looks immediately like he wants to try and make a move, but it is Amit Kuti out in front. Mohammed Ibrahim there in 2nd position, and thankfully Sai Prithvi in 3rd. They all dive under the apron here at the time going around, and there we catch it on the slow-mo. Just seeing the back step out, trying to put the power down a little too early, and for Amit Kuti. And once more as they go through, this time they're going to hold it too wide, both of them into the fence, and just like that, both of them are out of the event with a huge accident. Mohammed Ibrahim tried to hold it around the outside, and just looking at this one as they went on through, only the first left, of course, turns 1 and 2 of the NASCAR banking, goes around the outside and makes sure to get it, but the Warrior is not clear, not by any stretch of the imagination here. And look at that, a big jank over to the right hand side to try and make sure that there is room to try and make this move, as Ujwal Belwaria is doing just enough at this stage to maintain that 5th place. There you can see the fantastic green machine in 6th, and look at this from Samaravel. He might try and get down the inside of all of them here to try and make this one happen, but cannot find a way through. He's slightly boxed in there on that inside. There's got to be really careful about how he goes and makes that move. They're down on the inside, on the brakes, into turn numbers 1 and 2 once again, and Samaravel picks up 1 and jumps up then into the 6th position. Overall, the move done on Pratamesh Yedra. They're just getting exactly what was needed. So Yedra with work to do to gain those places back, and has a big lunge over to the right-hand side. Had to half catch that one a bit and has the nose chopped off slightly as well. Heading through the kink towards the West Horseshoe. Always going to be a tough place here to see some battling going on side by side through that section. Often ends up going the wrong way. If you've seen any 24-hour racing at Daytona, you know that when you got 2 vehicles going through there, it's normally a case. Noting that Sai Prithvi has not won a single race so far this season. Hails from Chennai, and we'll be looking to try and get as much as possible after this, but there is Kothadia going back around the outside of Niranjan Kumar to pick up the place as they head to the International Horseshoe once more. It's a 4-car scrap going on for 1 spot on the podium. There's King as they head towards turn 1. Look at Samravel, he's got to think about which way to go, and there's a little bit of contact there. Round goes 2 as there was Kothadia and also Niranjan Kumar coming together, and you can see it from this. I want a little different angle of this one here. I wonder how much of that one came down in. Oh, it was 2 into 1. The natural line trying to be taken there by one Mr. Kothadia, but Kumar was taking that wider line. He could dictate the pace. In your hand, Sai Prithvi wins and extends the championship lead with victory here at Daytona. It is Raghav Budaraja who will come home with 2nd place on a very understated and quiet drive, and it's a drag race for 3rd as Ujwal Belwaria is forced to go to the high side. He's got the overlap, he's got the place, he's stolen one on the line against Ryden Samravel, who has to settle for 4th. On the grid, and there's the green, and there's the go as they get on. Didn't even have time to go through the entire 22-car grid as they all look to try and get themselves moving forward. They're all onto the grid so very, very early. They funnel in towards turn number 1 and 2 for the very first time, but Mohan Raja gets the start that's needed here as every driver starts to funnel through and try and find what they want. They can see the light of what everybody wanting it. Sideways you go, and Mohammed Ibrahim gets hit in the contact there, going on through, able to just about survive. There's more dramas in the background, there's 2 more vehicles go around there. Didn't quite catch who all of them were in that sense, but more dramas there. That's Mohammed Ibrahim just about skating free and moving up to 7% drama. Sai Prithvi, the championship leader, is caught up in all of this and takes a big hit to boost as well. There is Venerata, of course, and Kothadia is going to try and look high side to try and get this one done on the run to the stripe, and now does poke ahead into 2nd position. Over the line, drops back to 3rd. They would have been nose to nose with a photo finish, trying to push it over the line, but Kothadia trying to go the long way around, does take the place and immediately goes on to attack Pratamesh Yedra for the race lead here, going to the outside of the International Horseshoe. Try and work this one out, and Pratamesh Yedra is having absolutely none of it there, and again might be placed slightly sharp in 12th place on the bottom. On the top is Mahan Raja there, and he's trying to immediately cover and defend. There goes one Mr. Hamid, who's sitting here, two alongside. We get it on the super slow-mo here as we go on through, as this is a very, very nice move there on Prathmesh Yedra. You can't really argue too much, but there is still 2/3 of the race to go, and no real chance to look down on the inside yet for Prathmesh Yedra. There is Siddharth Medarasa in 4th position. Quite a stalking, waiting championship contenders, but they are going to be getting some big points here. Route down the inside, he's got it wrong. Oh, how has he avoided everything there? He so nearly made an absolute horror show of Prathmesh Yedra going through there. You can see Route's looking for the brakes, then as he hits it on the inside, he locks up the front a little bit, gets a slide on, and somehow finds the gap. They go too wide here, looking in towards the chicane once more, and it's all going a little bit wrong there as they go on through. So we get a little replay here. Cabin retiring the car with technical glitches out on track. That's not ideal, but Rohit Rout here was trying to go through, and he just, that is net code and a half, and a very weird accident around there. Damage to the rear wing going through, and that is side-to-side contact there, up and over, and bang into the side, the secondary contact there, nose to tail, and bang more there, as that is that looks like a Mahadea there running into trouble. So everybody seems through, and bang, there was more dramas there with contact. So that was Man Raja for Oshan Kotadia, and there aren't many things that anybody can say otherwise. Took to the front of the field, picking off place upon place after starting this one from 7th position. We said it would be a similar start, but going into the tri-oval for the final time, Oshan Kotadia becomes the 4th different winner in 8 races, and crucially picks up a maiden here in this one. A wonderful win. Prathmesh Yedra takes 2nd position, as Siddharth Medarasa gets 4th place overall.
And the green flag is out. We're underway from WeatherTech Raceway. We're going to second for the Junior Series Race 3. And a couple of drivers with a bad start in the mid-pack. Most of the field's been able to get by cleanly, though, as they make their way through the Andretti hairpin for the first time. Warrior was able to jump up to P2 off the start. Agarwal will cycle back to P4 as we take a look at your race leader trying to grow the gap now in towards sector 2 and 3. And one car spins. That's P3. That's Abduct to the inside wall. Car's able to avoid him as the rest of the leaders still continue to go. You see Abduct just lost the back end with that blind corner too low off the corner. And into the sand he goes. Now back in 15th position. Patchall Cadero among the drivers who have lost the time in this past lap or so. Galdon now losing his time here. This is in P12 and he's ready hairpin as well. He's trying the wide arc to dive in the corner, too hard on the gas. Bye-bye race car as it loops around and gets out of the way. Drops them back to 18th though, as they'll have to deal with cars coming out of the pit lane and more cars crashing out of the lane. That's Bard crashing. We believe also involved in that as well. You can see 2 to 3 cars flipped upside down in the middle of the Andretti hairpin right as that position battle we were talking about was developing. And he's missed the corner. Missed the apex going out of turn 6. Until off the corkscrew. Right section is set up, tries to send it hard, and the brakes and spins it. White flag this time as he crashes towards the inside wall. Here comes Agrawal now with a chance to take the lead. Warrior still trying to get his car going. Agrawal passes behind on by. Garvin Agrawal now to the race lead. Coming to the white flag this time. big mistake coming on the turn 6 again, this time by Warrior to damage the front wing. And Garvin Agrawal, who has kept the car quiet and clean much of the race, he's now in the lead, but Warrior now in another crash. That is with Kadoru trying to go around him. Sheath also went in the sand trying to pass him for third. Garvin Agrawal out of the final corner will win race 3 at WeatherTech Race 3 Laguna Seca. He too goes to rail. Holding on by just 0.7 of a second with Sheath coming home in P2.